Let's take a look at the consumer purchasing decision process. Marketers need to know what the consumer is thinking at each stage of the process for considering a purchase. The first stage is generally recognized as problem recognition. Problem recognition is not just a problem that might pop up, where let's say your refrigerator stops working, or you blow out your favorite running shoe. Rather, there could be also something that you might call opportunity recognition. Let's say you've been putting up with an older car for a few years, wishing you could get a new one, and then you find out you've either landed a higher paying job or you've gotten a raise at your current job, and now you can afford to start looking for that new car you've been wanting. So problem recognition is just the triggering stage for recognizing a need or a want and actively going about trying to satisfy it. The second stage of the consumer process for decisions is information search. Now, for simpler decisions, this might just be internal memory search, like the last box of cereal you bought, or something else that's a very simple process and you don't really have to put a lot of effort into it. But other types of more serious decisions, such as that car, perhaps planning a vacation and the like, entails outside sources, consumer reports, friends and family who are knowledgeable, other experts who might be knowledgeable about that particular type of purchase. Going to stores and doing research, going online besides consumer reports to different manufacturers or retail websites. So those are all types of information search, and there's many, many more. Once one has invested some time and effort into searching for information about the particular product or service, or the particular want or need satisfaction, and you don't even know exactly what type of product or service there is, you find alternatives analysis. So this is when you've discovered there are different outlets for my wants and needs to be satisfied, and we want to go through, we go through in our mind which ones are likely to be the best, which ones don't really have what I need and they're crossed off the list, etc. So alternatives analysis can be a very short process, again, for a simple decision, or a very involved, time-consuming process that because of the expense and complexity of the situation involved. After alternatives analysis is the actual purchase behavior. That involves whether you're using cash or credit, how long you take to actually make the final decision and purchase it, whether that's just a few hours or days or even longer to make the actual purchase decision fully, actually obtain the product or start using the service. So this process, at every stage, marketers are interested in knowing what is the thought process and how we can best approach the consumer, the potential customer, and help them with this decision, from triggering the problem recognition through advertising and the like, to let them know about the new and latest versions of various types of products, whatever our particular category of product or service coverage is, helpful information on our websites and various other outlets that we can provide information about, satisfying these needs and wants through our type of product, and of course helping them in the alternatives analysis by showing the key features and best in class aspects of our particular offering. And then with the purchase behavior, being flexible on different modes of payment, different places where they can get it, whether we might customize the purchase for them. All those are types of things that we can have available during the decision process that will help the consumer. But we also pay attention during that process that as more complexity is involved with, say, an automobile purchase or some purchasing your first home, that type of thing, there's going to be feedback loops for each one of these back to earlier in the process if it's a more complex, important decision. And so we look a lot at post-purchase behavior to make sure everything that they thought they were signing on to, as far as warranties and correct installation and that type of thing, is being taken care of, because we want to create a relationship. We don't just want to sell one particular product to one particular customer, but we want them to recommend us to their friends and relatives. We want them to be happy and come back to us for a purchase when that one wears out, or for some other type of product or service that we have. The other thing you see are the feedback loops I mentioned. As you are looking at narrowing the problem down and you do information search, it may trigger you to realize there are other aspects to this problem, to this situation, and therefore there's a feedback loop back to problem recognition, wherein what you find out during the information search leads you back to redefining the problem and refining your thinking. As you go forward in alternatives analysis, you might realize, well, there aren't as many of what I had, an idea of what I wanted, and so I go back to information search and look in different places, different categories of products perhaps, but it helps me to go back and redefine and find out more information and then move forward in the process. And the same thing with purchase behavior. I find out maybe it was a stock out and I can't get it right now. Maybe a new model is coming out. I want to wait. So there's those types of postponing the decision, different alternatives for being able to pay for the particular product or service. And so marketers pay attention to these and try to be available at every stage with help for the consumer so that they can make the right decision and be happy and develop a relationship with us.